Welcome back to Granny Shift, and I'm Ryan.
And I'm Jason.
Happy New Year.
2025 is here.
When can you stop saying that?
This is the last time.
Ladies and gentlemen, hey, it's Jesse from the original Fast and the Furious, and you're listening to Granny Shifting, the Fast and Furious podcast.
Now we just got to get used to writing 25
Yeah.
checks. You know, all those checks we write.
I do actually have to write the date quite a lot at my job.
Did it get you yet?
Didn't get me yet.
Oh,
No.
man. You're on top of it.
Yeah.
Congratulations to the winner. We actually know who the winner is now.
Yeah.
Alan.
Alan.
Oh, wait.
Amateur
Dad won the... Oh, and the gift. We didn't even know what the gift was. So we chose for our Patreon giveaway.
Yeah.
We wanted to do a big giveaway. So we did a Granny Shifting sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And a...
It's the one that says "Smoke 'em" on the front, and on the back it says "Granny Shifting."
Yeah, it's a nice one.
Yeah.
And then we did a wristwatch, which... what was the company?
Magnus.
Magnus.
Yeah.
We were looking for good gift ideas, and I found this company, Magnus. They make really cool watches.
Yeah.
Like, I actually really want one, or a couple of them. And they're like car-themed watches, but they're actually like really classy. They're not cheesy.
Right. Yeah.
But if you look into the face, they have the wheel of a lot of really popular cars. You can choose like the car. So we went with the Nismo GTR, which
Yeah.
is from Fast and Furious.
Yeah. It's got like the brake caliper.
Yeah, and the rotor.
Yeah.
And they have two kinds. One kind, the wheel, like if you like shake your wrist, the wheel will actually spin inside. So we
That's
did
the
get
one
that
we
kind.
got, yeah.
Yeah. That makes it a little less classy, I feel like. But
Yeah.
a little bit cooler.
It all depends on
car-wise,
how easy it is to make happen. Like if you're like just moving your wrist around and it's like spinning, I feel like that's kind of like
Yeah.
But if
You're
you're
"What's
like-
that guy's? Oh, it's a wheel.
right,
Oh.
right. But if you like have to make it do it,
Yeah.
then that's a little I feel like classier.
But they have a bunch of different ones. I'm
Yeah.
like, those are sweet. I never really wore watches, and now I want one. So that'll be on my Christmas list next year.
Got a ways to go.
Yeah. They're not cheap either,
No,
but we got a discount. It
for
was-
buying bulk.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those discounts that you got to kind of believe is like,
It's
are
an
these
always
really
discount.
always $300 and you're just offering it to us 50% off? Because
Right.
that's a big discount.
Right?
Or are they just always this price?
Yeah.
It's like Amazon does
And like
it.
every single one was like, "Hurry, only 2 left in stock." I'm
Yeah.
like, man, they don't make a lot of these.
There is an off-brand version. I really want to know if... Okay, so Amazon has identical ones. So very,
Yeah.
very similar. But it's some weird, like, Chinese name.
Right.
I mean, it's not Chinese, but it's what Chinese... Trust me. Me and Ryan know. Chinese people choose the strangest names for their companies on Amazon.
Yeah.
And the watches on Amazon have it.
To the point where like you can search on Amazon Magnus watches.
Yeah.
And it'll come up with these other ones that aren't Magnus because there's no
Yeah,
Magnus.
it's like YYTLK or something is
Yeah.
the brand name. Like, what?
Magnus
But
watch.
Magnus, we should have looked into it more maybe. Not that it matters that much, but Magnus,
Nanoleaf.
Nanoleaf is the brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So Magnus
oh,
Walker.
and look. So sorry, I keep interrupting. It's the same wheel, but instead of Nismo on the spoke, it says Nanoleaf, and instead of Brembo on the caliper, it says Nanoleaf.
That makes sense. So Nanoleaf is not paying for the copyrights for that.
Yeah.
Where Magnus is. Where
Yeah.
they're allowed to put Nismo and allowed to put Brembo.
Right.
Magnus, the name in the car community, Magnus is a well-known name.
Oh, is it?
Magnus Walker. I talked to you about this. He's the Porsche guy.
Oh, right,
like
right,
the
right,
crazy dreads and collects all these cool Porsches.
Right.
So I don't know. They have some Porsche watches. I don't know if it's
think
his
they're related.
company.
Hmm.
But he, like, when I hear Magnus related to cars, I think of that guy. Because
Okay.
he's a really cool dude. And he's, I don't know, fascinating because he doesn't fit what you would think of somebody that collects
Porsches.
expensive,
Right.
classic, like a lot of old school X-race cars that won important. You going to pull them up?
Yeah.
All right. So if you're watching the video, we're going to pull up Magnus Walker here so you can see what he looks like. Very interesting dude.
Yeah.
But super cool guy and apparently quite a sweetheart. Everyone loves him. It's just hilarious because he looks I mean, this guy. Where do you think you'd find this guy if you saw him?
What do you mean? Where do you think I'd find him?
Like
At
not
like
collecting Porsches. This
no, he'd
type
be
of
like
person.
in a drum circle in the park
Yeah.
with no shoes on.
Yep. He was at Burning Man before it got popular. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So here we go. Here's the Magnus watch. This
yeah,
is the SRT one,
yeah,
but there's a
where's the-
ton of different ones. They're really sweet.
I don't know where the Nismo one was, but yeah, they're cool.
And they have some that are less car themed that look. They have ones that look like the gauge clusters on. I'm assuming that's what that one is.
This
like
one here?
gauge clusters on cars, which is also pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So classy looking. Look, that one's crazy looking like that.
Yeah.
So I guess
it
I
would
have
be
to.
hard for me to read the time on it, but as far as like if you're going for looks,
Really?
very nice. I like what. This is gonna take me a minute. Is this
9:20
4:45?
That's 9:24.
What? This is the
It's
shorthand.
10 seconds short of 9:25.
This is pointed between 4 and 5.
Yeah.
It's almost 5 o'clock.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
this is the
I
shorthand.
see. That is the shorthand.
Yeah. I
a
just
little
feel like
blurry.
for me, without numbers, it's hard for me to read them.
Yeah. So that's what 4:45.
It does have these dashes around the outside, which will be helpful. No, this is 9:13.
No, the last one.
Oh,
That is 10:09. Come on.
see, see my problem here.
So I actually had Shannon bought me a clock for my room once that was a wheel.
Oh, like a
Similar
car
to
wheel?
this, but it was a silver. These are all black, and then the actual hands are red, so you can see them pretty well.
Right? Yeah.
These Magnus watches. The one I had was silver, a silver wheel with a silver rim behind it, and then a rotor, but the hands were silver. And like if you were 10 feet away, you just like literally, because the spokes are lines that shoot out.
Right.
So you could not pick out like where the hands
right.
were and which one was longer. It was impossible to tell the time on it unless you like walked up to it. So it was more of a cool decoration. But isn't that kind of what wrist watches are?
Oh yeah. To
Unless
a
you have
point.
like a smart watch that's like for tracking stuff and whatnot. But
yeah.
like you
Even
have,
like
ooh,
this
look at your
one?
fancy one.
Man, it's like 7:11.
I think you're just
7:12.
not used to reading analog watches.
No, I can depending on the watch. Like this one's super easy. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's what I go for.
Okay.
That's-
It's got numbers on it.
It's got to have numbers, and this only has every other number on it.
Oh yeah.
But
That's like
yeah.
a training watch.
Most
you go
of
from
my-
that, and then it only will have 4 numbers. I like that it has. I'm looking at Ryan's smartwatch right now. It has like beginner mode that you tap something and the numbers show up,
Oh,
and then after like 30 seconds they go back.
this
to,
is the always on display.
okay.
And
It's
this is my watch face.
oh, I see. Both tell you the time. One has a little more detail. Don't you feel like classy? The classier the watch, the harder it is to read,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I have one that I got from my brother that has no numbers on the outside, but it was like a $700 watch.
Yeah.
But
Can
after
you
a
see
while,
all
you get
the-
used to it.
Yeah.
But I like those numbers. And Roman numerals, forget that too. I can't read those. All right.
Yeah.
So we're into minute 26 of Fast 5.
XXVI.
Yeah.
Is that right?
No, just as X. Oh, 26. Yeah, XXVI.
Oh man, I'm good.
Like Super Bowl. LVIII.
Yeah, Super Bowl is getting crazy.
Yeah. Or Olympics. No, what other one uses like a bunch of Roman numerals I don't understand? But I don't know what it is. All right, let's get into the minute, okay?
Yes.
So we ended last minute with Vince pulling something out of the head unit, and we heard Dom say, "Almost wish I didn't see that,"
Yeah. So
because Vince is doing something he's not supposed to be doing.
yeah. Because he was sneaking into the room where they're checking the car out.
Right? Why is Dom up? He's
And
Was
just
he waiting?
chilling. And like Dom, like we know Dom enough that you don't sneak into the garage and do that
Right.
without first scoping it out. Because
Right.
Dom's always sitting in the dark in the corner of a garage. It's like where he
That's his
hangs
thing,
out.
Yeah.
That's his
Look
thing.
around a bit.
Yeah. That shiny bald head. Come on, it's not that hard. What's like glare over there?
Yeah. All right. So Vince drops the chip, looks over at Dom, and Dom clarifies. He says, "Almost wish I didn't see that," and then he goes, "Almost." Like he is glad he saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he wishes it didn't happen, is what he's
Right.
saying.
Right.
But he's glad he knows now.
And of course, Vince gets on the defensive.
He says, wait, Dom.
Do you think that Dom should have heard him out here?
He does, kind of. But,
he is jumping to conclusions a little bit.
I mean,
He thinks
no,
that
I don't think he should have. Like, he comes out now and shoves Vince against the pillar and says, Mia was on that train. My sister.
yeah.
So here's where Vince screwed up. He's about to explain his side of the story. Well, let's have him explain his side of the story, and then I'll say why I think Dom was justified.
He says he didn't know. I wouldn't do anything to hurt her. But then Dom's like, "Well, you set up the deal, so how can you not know if you
Right.
set up the deal?"
Vince says, I thought the job was for the cars. I didn't know. All they want is the chip. So he's saying, like, he thought they were stealing cars, and now finding out afterwards there's something more important there.
How did he find that out?
Yeah, it makes you wonder if maybe they got him afterwards, and then we're like, well, you need to go get us that chip.
Right.
But where he screwed up is when he came in, he didn't tell them.
Right. Right.
Because he could have
tried to sneak
immediately
the
been
chip
like,
out.
yeah, he
Yeah.
could have immediately been like, look, guys, I'm sorry. I set this up to steal cars. They captured me and made a deal. All I have to do is bring them a microchip that's hidden in the car, and then we're off the hook. But he
Right.
didn't do that. He acted like, oh, I was just out, and then he tried to do this all sneaky.
So when he came in earlier and they were tearing the car apart, and he's like, "Oh, what a mess." He knew then
What? Yeah.
that what they were looking for.
Yeah.
He should have told them then, not much later.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, I thought you meant in this scene he should have.
No,
instead
no.
of sneaking in, he should have said to them.
As soon as he showed up.
Yeah.
If what he's saying is he thought they were stealing cars, and then now he found out there was a chip that they want
Right.
after the fact. Well, he should have told him that immediately when he saw them.
Right.
When obviously it took them a while to get there, and they were like real suspicious of that. They're like, "What took you so long to get here?"
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, I had to lose." Or whatever. He had some excuse.
Yeah.
That's when he should have been like, look,
Cops
guys.
are all over the place.
Yeah. There's a chip, and they want that chip. We just got to give them the chip, and then we're off the hook. But they're not, because for whatever reason, the DSS or whatever it is, DEA,
Oh yeah.
only knows that Dom and Brian stole this car.
Yeah. And the DEA doesn't know that this chip is in the car, right? We're assuming they don't.
We
know.
did just talk about this last minute, where
Right.
we're like, it seems like they shouldn't know, or they would have got it already.
Right.
But they obviously know there's something special about this car. Otherwise, why would they care this much?
Right. There's
Like-
something special about those three cars.
Yes, but we don't know where the other two are, right?
Well, the one is wrecked. The Corvette's at the bottom of the river.
Okay.
The Pantera, he drove off to where they were supposed to meet.
Oh, right.
And,
So he might have the Pantera.
40 is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Dom, in his anger, it looks like he's about to hit Vince, but he hits the pole behind him instead.
Yeah, he like shoves both his hands at Vince's face, but then splits him right before he smacks him in the face and
Yeah.
smacks the wall behind him.
Yeah.
And Dom's angry. Not the guy you want angry at.
No.
Although, you did point this out, that Vince bulked up a bit.
Yeah.
Him and Dom are the same size.
Yeah.
Dom was always this huge dude. Vince is he's got a little meat on him now too, but he doesn't have quite the charisma.
Yeah.
Dom is still pretty scary right now. He says, "You should have come clean."
And that's what you were saying. He should have.
All right, this made me laugh a little. So this commotion brings Brian and Mia out of the side office room,
Right.
whatever that room is. They come out and said, "What's going on?" And Dom says, "Nothing." So, like, in my eyes here, Dom's like, me and Vince are going to work this out. We don't need to get more people involved. I'm going to figure out what's going on. And Vince should be like, Dom's throwing me a bone here. He's not immediately throwing me under the bus
Right.
and getting me in trouble.
But
It's just
Vince-
between me and Dom. But Vince immediately,
Throws himself under the bus.
yeah,
Yeah.
he says, "Please, Dom, just let me have the chip. I can take this to them."
Yeah,
right in front of Brian and Mia.
Well, he
who-
wants to be in Dom's good graces more than he cares about what Brian and Mia think of him, I guess.
Yeah, but now he's gonna have 3 people turning against him,
Yeah.
right?
But, okay, we'll get to the end of this in a minute, and then I have another thought
Okay.
about this part. So he said, I'll take the chip to them, they'll give it to Reyes, and we'll be
In the clear, yeah.
all good. Dom's not having it. He says, get out.
Just shakes his head. Get out.
This is
It's like,
interesting.
what?
Like camera pan around, and like it looks like Vince is moving too to get like more in Dom's vision. Be like, what? Like I brought
like-
you here,
You've been my friend forever.
right?
And Dom said it quietly the first time, like, get out. And then Vince is like, what? And then now Dom, like, screams at him, get out, and points.
Yeah,
Which I don't know if that's the right way to do it.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is like, should they just do that? Should they just give the chip
Right.
to Reyes?
It's an option.
Yeah.
But now you're putting Vince. Vince now is going to be owned by Reyes.
yeah,
Because obviously he met up with them after the fact. If what he's saying is true, he didn't know. He thought he was stealing cars. He must have conversed with them and then came to get this chip.
right.
So why?
It's one of those things where Dom just has to make things more difficult for himself. Just like when they were getting interrogated in that basement or shack or whatever that was, and he didn't want to say where the cars were, anything like
Yeah.
that. Just tell him and
Let it
they'll
go.
probably let you go. Maybe not.
All they want is the
But
cars.
in this situation, like literally, you have a car, give them the chip, sell
Well-
the car. You have money. Like
Right.
I don't know.
Like,
Is he
Exactly.
does he actually
I also-
care about what's on the chip? Is Dom thinking that far ahead? He's like, well, I'm going to find out what's on the chip and I'm going to use that.
you have, yeah. You also have to, like, realize how humorous it is. The cartel knew there was a chip in the back of the head unit. Obviously, Vince walked right up, pulled it out. He
Right.
didn't look for it.
Right,
He knew
yeah.
where it was. So the cartel knew it was there the whole time. Imagine if instead of building a custom off-road truck with a plasma cutter on the side and then robbing a train, cutting the entire side of the train off,
Right.
you just snuck into the car where that car was,
Right. They already had to
pulled
do
the
that.
head unit out,
Right.
and pulled the chip out of the back, and then went back and sat in your seat.
Right.
Like,
Why
they-
wouldn't they have just told Brian? Like Brian and Mia already figured out how to get in there. Why didn't they just go? Hey, go to the back of this head unit, grab this chip out.
That's what we want.
Yeah.
Unless
Get the chip. You can have the cars, honestly. If you can get the cars out, you can have them.
I'm
We
gonna
want
say
the
unless they needed the manpower that Vince had, and the only way they could get that manpower was to tell them they were stealing the cars. But still, I think the cartel could have handled get on the train,
chip. What if they would have said, "Hey,
sneak back.
we'll give you $100,000 to get this chip back for us"?
I don't think Dom and Brian would have done. Like, they don't want to get involved in.
They wouldn't have done that kind of job.
Yeah,
It was
'cause
only
that's
because it was
too-
stealing fast cars.
Yeah, they like cars and they want cars,
Right.
and they didn't know. For all they thought, they were stealing a rich guy's car and
Yeah.
whatever.
But they could have. Yeah.
They don't want
I'm
more
sure they're getting
heat on
paid
them.
for this. As soon as
they're
Dom
supposed to.
screwed it all up when he made Mia drive the GT40.
Yeah.
If he would have just let them drive the GT40, the plan would have gone perfectly fine. They would have got paid.
And they would have been off the hook. The cartel had the car,
Right.
but they just want to hang on to the car and the chip, so everybody's after them.
Yeah.
Well, it's
They
gonna
can-
make for a good movie, I guess.
Yeah, probably. I love how Vince is looking at Brian and Mia.
Like, are
like-
you guys gonna vouch for me?
He's so. I think he's just like, this is how it always is. Well, he does say that a little bit. He's like, you never listen to me. Because he sees Brian and he's like, why is Brian okay? And I'm the one getting yelled at when I've been Dom's friend since
Yeah.
we were infants.
So once again, we are disagreeing with what Dom's doing,
Yeah.
and kind of being like, Vince is kind of right here.
Yeah.
He says, "You never listen to me." Like, he did screw up by not telling him right away. But there's a line that comes, we can see it, but it wasn't spoken in this minute, so we're not going to mention it.
Yeah.
The very next line, Vince says, he's making a good point. So,
Yeah.
but we'll get to that next week.
You'll just have to wait and find out.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah. And that's the first episode of 2025.
Oh, also, don't watch ahead. That's cheating.
How could they?
Well, if they have the movie,
Oh.
or if they're at a hotel somewhere and turn the TV on, it could be playing.
It probably will be.
We don't
if
want
they're
you
at a
watching
hotel.
ahead. So
Yeah.
if you are, you get to minute 26, turn it off
Yep.
until next
You
week.
gotta wait. You gotta wait.
You'll ruin the fun. I'm waiting.
Yeah. Abstaining from watching more Fast Five.
That's right. It's gonna be hard when I'm in Mexico.
Yeah, it'll be on for sure. Every time.
It is amazing how, like, you could easily make a lot of money. Nobody would bet against this, but it's such an easy bet to say, I'm going to turn, if any hotel, the U.S. or Mexico, you turn the TV on and one of the Fast and Furious movies is playing on some channel. I don't even know what channel. Does one channel own it, or they get played on all of them?
I think it just plays all over the place. I saw they're on Netflix now. Netflix? I think they're on Netflix. The Fast and
Peacock. I
Furious
saw
movies.
Peacock has Fast 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're out there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Anyways, thanks for listening. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Jason.
And always remember,
Happy 2025
is winning.
is winning.